Sip and Talk Podcast. Sip and Talk Podcast. Sip and Talk Podcast. Starting soon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Ms.Londa. We have a great show for you this evening. But before we get into that, let me introduce my co-host. So we have Miss Sneed.
Hey.
We have Boom with Podcast Lit. We have Jamie in the building, and we have Miss Tanza.
Hello,
everybody. How was everybody's weekend?
Good.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm in Georgia.
Right. You in Georgia, Boom?
Yeah.
Where the barbecue
down.
I'm coming through.
All right, so our topic this evening, we are going to be talking about New York City's first supervised consumption site for illegal drug injections. All right, so this program is being backed by the mayor, Bill de Blasio. He's a part of the city's harm reduction, and he's backing this program. I'm a little on the fence because I did read that it is going to stop the number of overdoses, and that's a good thing. Also, stop the number of in public use. That's also a good thing. But where I'm on the fence is if you're steady injecting drugs into people, how are they going to ever get over the using drugs? So that's my question on that. How does anybody else feel about that?
All right, two things, Ms.Londa, real quick. One is, I don't know, somebody got like a little clicking going on in the background. I don't know which one it is. It might be me, but I did mute my bike and I didn't hear it no more. And then the second thing
It might be Jamie.
I don't know. It might be me, but I muted my mic. I didn't hear it, but I don't know. And then the second thing is Miss Need is covered up by your Sip and Talk symbol.
Yeah, we can't see you, Miss Need.
I know. I guess I was a surprise today. Surprise. Hey, Taz and Jamie, how y'all doing?
You muted yourself, Ms.Londa, so just letting you know too.
But Miss Londa, I think I'm on the fence with you. There's pros and cons that I'm seeing, and one of the major things that I'm not sure about is, are these sites inclusive of rehabilitation services for these people? Because while I can appreciate making sure that people are off the streets and maybe that you can service them medically if something goes wrong, but to be honest with you, if you're not rehabilitating people, just passing, I'm sure they're not passing out the drugs, but just allowing a safe space to do drugs just does not seem like a solution to a problem. Do you know what I mean? If it's not coupled with some kind of program that is helping you to overcome the addiction, if that makes sense. You're muted, Ms. Londa.
Londa, you muted. You muted. Stop talking.
Sorry. So, okay.
We didn't hear nothing you said.
My bad. So, okay, what I did read was that they can come there, they can get injections, but that those services to wean them off, I guess, are being offered to them. But that's where I'm confused, because I thought, I'm not a doctor, but I would think that getting drugs out of your system totally would help to wean you off versus keeping them in your system. So that's where I'm lost at.
Right, I get that, but so I don't know a whole lot about drug use in the drug world, but I have heard that there are places where people can go, like, to come down off of meth, where they give you some kind of like substitute drug to like wean you to slowly help and assist you with, getting rid of that habit.
Yeah, they go to the meth clinic.
But anyway, um, but so maybe maybe that, like you said, I'm sure that whoever is designing this program has to be taking that into effect, because the last thing that we need is just to create a population where people just are okay with doing drugs, and but they know that if they go a little too far, somebody's gonna bring them back toward the light. Like that's not
Yeah.
incentive, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
To
well, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I'm confused with it, but it seemed like they trying to take the peoples off the street or something. Maybe he trying to get them off the street and have them in, because you can't control them. You ain't gonna be able to stop them, and some won't help and some don't. So maybe they coming up with this creation and get them off the streets, and where we don't have to find needles and some what's them things, the skillet things, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so but just letting them do it, I mean, you can't. I don't know. I wish this program was out when my dad was out. That's all I can say. Cause my daddy died from an overdose, and they found his body decapitated. So
it's a
I
tough
don't know.
thing, because when you're talking about these things, these are things that are considered to be the wrong thing, right? I think most people would agree that hardcore drug use is not okay and is not good for you, right? So when you're thinking about a society, or when you're raising kids, whatever the case may be, the last thing is to make it comfortable for someone to do something wrong. So like we would never tell our kids, it's okay to run a drug ring out of your bedroom. Like that would never be something, because there are consequences to such actions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you set up a situation where you're removing consequences from people who are doing and not providing rehabilitation, that kind of gets a little sketchy. So I don't know. And of course, I'm not saying that people don't need help, but a consequence of doing drugs is losing everything, right? So if you make it so that you're not losing, including your life, that's what crime and drug use is about, then maybe it might blur. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Jamie, what?
No, I mean I
I
kind of
don't know.
agree with everyone has said so far. I personally know someone, and they didn't end up making it out. But I realize when it comes to some type of addiction or drugs, they have to be willing to get the help. So if these people are bringing them into a facility to wean that out their system, they have to want to do it. So no matter what, whether they wean that out of them or whatever the case may be, they're going to end up going back to it if they weren't ready for it. And that's just, I don't know. It's just like a iffy, situation. I get what they're trying to do in a sense, but altogether, I mean, they have to want to get the help and not want to use drugs or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think
we
what I'm
wouldn't know.
thinking is that, like what you were just saying, and what I think Ms. Sneed said, is that, what I think is that perhaps it should not be an option. Like if you're going to use this facility, then you must be enrolled in this rehabilitation.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It is
Yeah, you
just
have
not
to.
here for you to come and let us help
Right, because then you
support
might as well
constant.
open up a smokehouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah.
most people, even some people think that they're ready to get off, but they're so far gone. And when you're so far gone on a particular drug, whatever it is, I won't say that there's no way turning around, but there'll be some type of outcome at the end of a consequence, whether you live or you just, you have some type of issues within internal issues that can't be fixed, and then you end up, passing away. So like you said, it's just something that's built, like they're creating something. In a sense, I feel like a disaster later on.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
it.
mean,
Because my dad was a heroin addict, real bad. Seriously, and he was one of them people who had to get it. And I mean, he just had to get it. If he didn't get it, he had the shakes and sick and everything else. So I guess when my dad passed away at this particular time, he was out there in the cold, homeless, and I guess he couldn't get what he needed at the time. So I think my dad probably died over a withdrawal, whatever I'm trying to say, and then yeah.
So
So
what they said is that they found that the program has saved up to 130 lives per year.
that's what I'm saying. See, if his program was out when he was out there, he'd probably still be alive today because he wouldn't be out there in them vacant houses trying to get high, sitting in the cold when he had a center he can go to and get some help from. So it's kind of, it's a,
I mean, I
win-win
read
with
that,
me.
but I wonder if these are the type of people that were wanting to get the help.
Yeah.
And
My-
see, that's the other thing. Are we dealing with it that when they come into this facility? Are these people that are doing drugs but want to get off drugs, but like you said, Miss Sneed, withdraw, so they might need it at that moment, but they still want the help? Or are these people who just want to get high and now they just found the place that they can go get high?
Is it my
And,
turn?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Boom.
All right. 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 You guys have been given a popular opinion. You guys have been politically correct. All right. I respect everything that y'all talking about, but y'all got to crawl outside this goddamn box. All right.
Okay.
So we are talking about opioids. Number one, we are not talking about crack. We're not talking about weed. We're not talking about all this shit you can find in the hood. We are talking about opioids, and we are talking about white. Now, I have no problem with white people. I'm pretty sure that you guys have no problem with white people. But let's just keep it all the way and call a spade a fucking spade. We are talking about white people. When the crack epidemic hit, we were calling them animals and drug heads. Now that we are talking about these opioids and we are talking about these white people, we are talking about drug addiction and or excuse me, just addiction. Period. Now it's addiction and people need help because we're talking about these white people. Now,
Wait, boom. Are you saying that these facilities are going into
I'm finna
mainly
get
Caucasian neighborhoods?
no.
Okay.
We're finna get into the facility. All right. So the facilities are because of overdose stopping. So this is not a place that we are sending people or wanting people to come just to use drugs and try and get off of them. This is a place that we are sending people so that if they do go into an overdose situation, we can be right there to help them. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to let our people die. Now, when I say our people, I'm pretty sure you know who the hell we're talking about. I'm not talking about mine. I'm just talking in general. So we're not going to let our people die. We are going to put them in a position to where if something happened to them, they can get over. We're talking about a president who gave out $30 million worth of crack pipes so people can smoke. So we are trying to make sure that our people stay alive. Now, when you go deeper into a sense, and like I said, I'm going to get off a little bit off topic. We know that white people are they are dying. And one thing that we do know is that when you mix a black person and a white person, you get a mixed baby. When you mix a black person and a black person, you can get an albino baby, which would look white. When you mix a white person and a white person, all you're going to get is white. So when you start losing your people, your percentage and numbers start going down. And this is where it becomes a problem. This is why we're spreading, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to stop drug overdose because we're losing our people. You see what I'm saying? So when you look deeper into it, this is a place that we send people to not overdose off the drugs that they're doing, off of these things that we're doing, because now we don't want it to seem like, oh, how the crack hit the black people, this is how the opioids are hitting the white people. So now we wanted to say, oh, over 29 years, we've been working 29 years to clear this up and try and fix this thing. Well, we're in 2022. So 29 years ago was 1993. We know the government wasn't trying to help no black people. If anything, we giving out 3 strike force and trying to lock niggas up. So we wasn't trying to stop this shit 30 years ago. Now that it's starting to hit our community, we're trying to stop this shit and put people in a place to where they can stay alive. And if they are about to die, we can help them stay alive. So we have to look outside the box on this and understand what this is for, because honestly, this is not for our people. And y'all got to see this shit, like, for real, because they're dying at a fast rate from all these drugs, and they're not able to reproduce like we are. So if they lose, then it's just that we take over. I'm telling y'all, go look into this. This is what all this is about. But this opioids, black people, you don't see too many. But I mean, if you do see some black people, you're gonna see them maybe off a little bit of heroin. You know what I'm saying? Maybe off some crack that they just sipped up in. But this shit is about these white kids dying early, giving it to their children. These people that's dying from these opioids are not 35, 36, 27, 28. These are 21, 22, 23-year-old kids, and they're predominantly white. I'm telling y'all what I know.
Okay.
So when we go into, and this is not even trying to be racial about it, it's just the fact that now all of a sudden, if it's my kids, put it like this, if it's my kids, it's cool. My kids cool. But your kids are bad. Put it like that. That's how it's looking right now. That's what it's going into. So go look into it. I was reading up on the information that you gave me, and I see what it's about. But this is really just a place for people to go and not overdose. This ain't about nothing else. I'm telling y'all. And
okay, and I can believe that, and I can roll with what you're saying. Boom. There would be a couple of questions for me. So, in order to like clarify that, I would need to know: are they putting these facilities or these places in areas where it is hard for African American or any other race to reach?
No,
So that would be one. The other one would be like, are there requirements? Like, do you have to have insurance or things like that? Because I can see how what you're saying. I could see that being the case. However, when you do things like that, I imagine the masses that would come into such a place are going to be people that are not hiding. And when you're talking about the Caucasian race, I would imagine that most of them are in secrecy. Like they don't want their family, they don't want the world to know
dying.
that they're there.
Their percentage are getting low. This is an actual fact.
Oh, I know about their like whole population.
Right. So then when you look at that, when you ask a question as far as if black people are able to access it, let me ask you a question real quick. If you go into most black owned neighborhoods, that's the hood, not the actual big ups where people came up and successful, but the actual hoods, the overall percentage of where black people live at. If you go into those neighborhoods, you rarely see any golf courses, if any at all, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Can black people golf?
Absolutely.
So if I went far out and went to a golf course, I could go golf, right?
Absolutely.
But there's none around me, right?
Absolutely.
So when I put this picture out here and I say, hey, everybody can come golf, all races and whatever, I might put it in the area to where you can't go, but that's not saying that you can't get to it.
Yes.
So when I put this picture out here and I say everybody can golf, I'm really speaking towards my people. So again, this whole situation right here that we're talking about.
That's what I'm asking. But that's what I'm asking. Is that what they're doing? Are they putting these facilities in a place where it's difficult for anyone else?
I know one of them is in Manhattan, and I don't know much about New York. So is Manhattan like considered the hood, or is that
a borough? It's a borough. I'm from Harlem, which is Manhattan. So it's a borough.
It's not that it's too much. It's the fact that white people are not going. Excuse me. I'm not even gonna say white people because the white people aren't the only people that's on drugs. I'm gonna say people are not going to these rich neighborhoods finding these drugs like that. You know what I'm saying? Unless they got a homie who got the drugs already. Most of the time, you gotta know somebody from the hood with this stuff, or you gotta have a good doctor who giving it to you. Now, my mom, not to put her business out there, she was a part of these people, these doctors who would give you these drugs for your pain. But then all of a sudden, you become addicted. And so it's not even for your pain no more. Now it's for your fucking brain. You feel me? And that's so a lot of times when we're talking about these drugs, you got to have good enough insurance to even get these drugs. You got to have this, that, the other. And when we're talking about people actually getting addicted and losing, we know they don't give a goddamn about our. If they did, we would have had crack houses for people to go smoke in instead of them being in the fucking streets if we really cared about it. We only starting to care about it because people are shooting between their toes and their arms, and we know who those people is. So outside the box, it's big, because we don't want our people to freaking die in the middle of the street. We want our people to go somewhere and do their drugs, so that way if they do overdose, it won't be where the people, our kids and our children and everybody can see it right there in the middle of the street. And also we can help them if they're in the process of dying because we want them to get out of it. But for the most part, when have they ever gave a fuck about us to really say this is for us? Let's just be real.
I get you. And I wonder, Ms.Londa, if they are putting it in, like to Boone's point, if they're putting it somewhere where you're not going to find a whole lot of different kinds of people rolling through, if you think about the Buckhead area, they were putting it in a fancy area in Buckhead where, people from Clayco are less likely to just feel comfortable going in.
Right.
Point. That's the kind of questions that I'm wondering about, because that does impact. If it's on the opposite end, so if they're putting these kinds of facilities in the hood, then I immediately start thinking about programs like, projects and how that was supposed to help, but it created another issue for the community. You see, like, we're going to build these housing projects to make it easier for low-income people, but it actually locked them into something. So I'm curious as to what the politics are behind this.
How they work.
You make a valid point. I'm with you on that. I would have to look into it.
Can I go a little deeper? And maybe it may be off the wall, but I have been thinking about this. What if it's just an undercover drug spot?
Where they're pushing another drug to get people off, and then before you know it, there's a whole new pandemic going on. That's
hey, listen,
it could be possible in this United States of America.
The games that they play, the way that they play their game, the way that they play chess, it's totally different from how we play chess, because we sit there and we try and put our pawns, let our pawns go out for us, you know what I'm saying? Where they already know how to move the king, where they ain't even got to move not one pawn. But the problem is it's their board. You see what I'm saying? So if they move it, what can you say? You just have to figure out how to beat their board. And that's our problem. Like, they play the game totally different than how you actually supposed to play it. So I sit here and tell you something like, I'm gonna go, like I said, I need $30 to go put in my car tank. And you gonna be nice enough to give me the $30 because you understand that I'm running out of gas, where I actually only need 15 to fill up my tank. So I can do $15 with the other whatever I gotta do. But that's not your business. And I'm not gonna tell you. Just understand that I need $30 and give it to me, So when we're talking about opioids and shit like that, it's not our business of what they're doing. And I'm not talking about I'm not saying it like I know this for a fact. I'm just saying how they feel.
Right.
It's not our business of what they're actually doing. What our business is that they're actually doing it, and be thankful that they're doing it. We're not going to tell you the real reason of, we doing this because of this, or we doing this because of that. We're going to tell you this is what we're doing. You're going to be like, oh, that's good, okay, and then boom, leave it alone. You see what I'm saying? So that's where you got to go outside the box. Are you really doing this for me? Are you really doing what you say you're going to do? Are you doing this shit to make it look good, but it's really for a whole nother story? Because like I said, man, these people trying to block out the sun, facts. These people trying to kill us all off and make the population lower to another number, facts. So when you look at the things that are going on, jabs, people dying in abductions and things like that, all the way down to now we're talking about our people off of these things. Like I know a couple of black people who did some meth. I know a couple of black people who did some heroin. But come on, man, we're not gonna act like the predominantly people who be doing these things, what color they are. And so we know what y'all rocking with. Because again, we didn't get no crackhead houses to where we was trying to really say the crackheads. You got caught with one piece of crack, you're doing 10 years. 2 pieces of crack, 20 years. 3 pieces of crack, 30 years. And these are small little pebbles. And now all of a sudden y'all making buildings for people. It don't rock. It don't rock with me.
And Ms.Londa, did you say 130 lives per year? Is that what you said?
It says that they found that the program has saved up to 130 lives per year.
Not 130,000.
No,
just not 1,300
lives.
So here's interestingly, the population of New York is what, 8 or 9 million people, and that doesn't seem like a lot.
It doesn't.
Not a lot at all.
And I'm not saying every life matters, but
Every life matters.
it doesn't seem like a lot to motivate such a program.
And this program is operated by a nonprofit organization.
Man, it's not for niggas. Excuse me. It's not for black people. Just don't let it there. Don't take yourself there because listen, a lot of times people come up missing. Either because they ain't had no family, they ain't had nobody who really cared for them, ain't nobody really making no noise about these people missing. And especially if we talk about drug heads who 9 times out of 10 just stole from you, stole from your auntie, stole from your grandma, made a bad name from. What happened to Boom? Shit, I don't know. I ain't talked to that nigga. Last time I heard, he stole from Granny up the street, la. So if I'm out here getting used and abused on some type of scientific experiment, who really gonna give a fuck? Like,
I mean, I have to piggyback off of that and say, when people come up missing, it's not always that nobody don't care of their whereabouts. When you got certain people that are helping them come up missing, what do? Because if they're the people that's making them come up missing, then yeah, you're never gonna find them. You're never gonna get the resources to help you find your loved one that's missing.
But a lot of times when you're thinking about people who drugged out and go to these little places, a lot of times they don't get no love, man. Like I love my aunt to death, man, but I know she ain't gonna get too much love from me or my family because we can't trust her in the house. So if she out there in the streets, it's hard for me to know or keep up with her because I don't know what she's doing. But at the same time, I know if I bring her in my house, some things might be missing. You see what I'm saying? So they do come up missing and they do bone marrow searches or want to take whatever type of blood she got because of nobody else caring. It ain't gonna be no big old march through the streets for somebody who do drugs. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. So when you put them in a place like this, and then maybe they do die, maybe they don't die. Who the fuck knows? Because I'm not in there and you don't in there. So then they just say they died and we use them for whatever experiment we know, man. Listen, I'm kind of getting off topic because we know that this is about them putting people in a place for drug overdose. But at the same time, man, I know it's something bigger to gain than just drug overdose because they're not even being really involved by this unless it's affecting their kids. Like, they're not coming to the hood. And ain't nobody coming to the hood to them unless they robbing them. But most of the time, that don't even happen all the time either. So this is affecting them some other type of way than the crack did the black people. I'm telling y'all now, man. I'm telling y'all. This is affecting them some type of way.
Are you aware that there are 2 other facilities like this in Australia and Canada?
And what are those predominant races?
Dang, Canada.
Bingo.
Yeah. In Australia.
It's the predominant race. I'm telling you, like, listen, when it was crack.
Funded by whom?
Man.
You said it was a nonprofit, but the nonprofit has to
well,
be
now the one that's funded by a nonprofit is the ones that are in New York City. They're funded by a nonprofit organization formed to focus on harm reduction. Now, the one in Australia and Canada, they have already been in place before the one in New York City. And it didn't say who they were funded by, though.
I'm wondering what the nonprofit, who their biggest supporters are. That makes, because politics is in everything, to Boom's point. That's interesting. Because again, so a lot of times when you're looking at things like that, like this, the math has to make sense, right? Because everything's about the numbers. And again, I just have to go back to the fact that we're talking about 130 lives. You got to somehow make that math make sense.
Yeah.
Man, we all know crack,
right?
Crack living forever.
This is a huge city. 130 lives doesn't get a whole lot of attention for anything.
It's not funny.
Okay, and it doesn't matter who the lives are, pretty much, but it doesn't get a whole lot of attention.
Here.
So that there's some math that we're missing in this, and it's probably going to take a whole lot of digging to figure it out. Which I'm pretty sure, if it's a grand conspiracy, which most things are, it'll be kind of hard to figure out. But yeah. That math doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense to me.
So I would say in another year to check to see what the numbers are, because I don't think they've been open long.
Okay. Long enough to say at least 130 lives per year, which means that they've had to have more than 2 or at least 2.
So how long has the one in Australia been open?
Question.
I don't know. It didn't say. All it said was Australia and Canada have similar sites and have been proven to be successful.
But most of the time they would have dates, or not date, at least a approx when it was open or how long it's been open.
Well, look,
Didn't say it in the article.
the thing about Australia, like when you go back into like countries like Haiti or whatever, man, these countries wasn't colonized by, like Haiti was a country colonized by the white people, but excuse me, by the Europeans. Places like Australia, Canada, definitely colonized. They all live by damn near the same rule. So they dates might have started the same as ours, honestly. But as far as the dates go, like we're not going to tell you what's going on with our people. We're going to tell you what's going on with your people. So y'all niggas, we're not going to tell you how many husbands kill wives up in here, up in these boondocks areas. We're going to tell you how many black people kill each other in the hood. We're going to tell you how, we're not going to tell you about what's going on in Australia where our actual people, where our land at. We're not going to tell you that. Yeah, we over here doing drugs, but it ain't your fucking business. Mind your goddamn business, man. So I'm telling you, it go further than just dates and things like that. And I understand that there probably should be some dates, Miss Jamie. But honestly, from me to you,
I don't
that's
mean
our
like
business.
dates. I just mean far as how long has it been open. Most places would say, you know, it's been open for about 4 or 5 years, you know, or something. So that's where it's just to see about, so far as in New York City, how long was that?
Well, they said over 30 years in New York City. They said in Manhattan they've been trying to work over for over 29 years. And like I said, that goes back to 1993. But we know for a fact, 1993, that's fucking Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Bill of Crime, 3-strike rule bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was never for us. We can't sit here and say that it was for us because the whole time that y'all was talking about people doing drugs, y'all was calling us crackheads, animals, and whatever else y'all wanted to call it. So we know for a fact when y'all started this shit, it wasn't for us. So it's always been for y'all. It's obvious. And then to see that y'all want to all of a sudden, why didn't y'all have all this money? Why didn't y'all make these buildings for people like my father, people like my auntie who needed to go in these buildings? Yes, they didn't overdose, but of course, because who really overdosed from crack? Like they just be trying to sell shit so they can run. You see what I'm saying? So we talking about overdosing and we talking about people dying from these drugs. And when you talk about that, you talking about hardcore drugs. A lot of black people couldn't even afford powder. They only could afford crack. Powder was a rich man's drugs and niggas wasn't rich.
Yeah.
So come on, like you got to look at the whole outcome of the whole thing, man. It's all set up to make sure they people stay better. But when we start doing our taxes, or when you start looking at your check and you see, 2% for opioid crisis, nigga, we paying 2% of our taxes to save you, motherfuckers. But they ain't gonna tell you that. They're gonna tell you it's an opioid crisis and we need the help. And we're gonna be like, oh, you know what, you're right, cuz I don't want those in our streets. Well, name a motherfucker in the hood that's really on opioids.
And opioids would be
Vicodin.
Pills, Vicodin, Adderall, you know, the pain pills.
And that shit just now coming.
You
It's
say
really what you're rich for.
Vicodin. I
Vicodin,
said Vicodin.
Percocet,
Isn't that
Adderall.
the soccer mom's drug of choice?
Not the soccer mom.
Only time black people really get into those drugs, like I said, man, other than like meth, you probably really got to know people who do meth and all that. But for the most part, like we get into those drugs because we're going to the doctor because we got bad bones or we got something going on with our body and we need these medicines. And eventually we get addicted to them because y'all not trying to really fix us. Y'all just trying to help us
That's the
cope with
quickest
the
thing
pain.
they want to provide to us.
And then you keep coming back, and then you start realizing how much these actual pills actually cost, and you keep coming back from because you out of pain now, and you like, hey doc, I'm finna run out of pills, I'm out of pain. Hey doc, I'm finna run out of pills, I'm out of pain.
And they just sign away.
And next thing you know, you addicted. You fuck around and go get surgery, be healed like a motherfucker. Still need a fucking Vicodin. This ain't us. We ain't making no
now I'm
Vicodin.
seeing what you're saying, Boom, because when you first said opioids, because I'm not real familiar, you mentioned heroin, but I know plenty of black people that been strung out on heroin.
Man, one of my favorite rappers.
But when you mention soccer mom drugs, now I'm following you even more.
Yeah,
I do know some hood people who are strung out on opiates, though.
Yeah,
but the percentage. The
Yeah, I don't
percentage.
know the
I'm not
percentage.
listening. It's gay people in every fucking race. It's racism in every race. I know some black people who will tell you cracker this, cracker that, and I gotta keep on telling them stop saying that. Like you know what I'm saying? I know some racists in every race. I know some drug heads in every race. Everybody do the same thing. Ain't nothing new under the sun. But when we talking about percentages, again, when all of our black people was out here off of drugs, it was war on drugs.
Right.
Come on. Now all of y'all off of these drugs, and it is an addiction, and people need help. Make
And
it
in
make
that
sense.
link that you sent, because I'm still trying to work out the
Okay,
numbers.
remember, it was put out here for our people.
But
Remember?
I'm still trying to work out these numbers. And in the link that you sent, Ms.
No,
Londa,
Tangent,
it
don't
said-
miss what I said. It was put
no,
on here for our peoples.
no. Oh,
And now that they did that to the peoples, and they peoples, what Boone trying to say, they want to help their people. They put them on, but they want to help them, but they put ours on, and it's like fuck them.
and they just arrest us. I get it, or kill us. But and that's what I'm saying. So I looked
get
even further, and it said only 2. And I don't want to only just follow me when I say only, because I know every life matters.
Amen.
But when we're talking about a city where there are millions of people there, only 2,000 people died from a drug overdose. That still doesn't make sense. So even at the biggest number that I'm seeing, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. When we had millions of people dying over, like that doesn't make it. Those numbers, that math don't make sense. I'm leaning more towards you.
Hey, listen. When
I'm
you're
leaning
talking about the people in charge and everybody dying off, and we got to figure out how to stop this shit from happening. We gonna put positions in. First off, we already in position. Like I said, I'm king. I got a queen. We on the chessboard.
Right.
This is my board, so I can put whatever position I want, and you just have to fight through it. So if I put a freaking piece over here, i.e., opioid safety zone, then you're gonna have to figure out how to get around this opioid safety zone, pay your taxes or fight it. But at the end of the day, it's gonna look like a good thing. So if you're sitting here like, no, I ain't with that. Like, hold on, Miss Tonza, hold on, boom, you ain't with the opioid stoppage pandemic, like you know what I'm saying? But nobody said that when we was with the crack stop pandemic. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like,
But why is it only specific to that? That's the other
because
question. Why is it only specific to that kind of overdose? Like,
so we talking about making the
See,
opioid.
they didn't really name specific overdose. They just said it was to prevent overdosing. Now I assume
It said
chewing
opioids though.
heroin, yeah, the opiates, and that's what I assumed it would be.
but it didn't specify that.
No, it didn't
No,
specify.
That's what's more popular now. Opiates took over crack. You don't hear nothing about no crackheads no more. I don't even see a crackhead no more. Where they at? I see a couple of them, but not like we
I
used
see them,
to.
but it's the O.
Yeah,
I
I
see
see a
them, but it's the
couple.
OGs though, man. It's not the new people. It's the OGs. Like it's like the people who been doing it. And again, when you look at the people who been doing crack, if they haven't got locked up or killed, then they still surviving out here. You can run into any kind of OG crackhead. I done ran into a 50-year-old crackhead who still changed mufflers and tires. Like you know what I'm saying? And still do it for a couple pieces of rock. But these niggas ain't really the ones that we talking about because they not overdosing. They
That's
just
what I'm saying.
we talking about the ones who can't stay out the freaking crack house, who keep on shooting themselves up with needles. And you could go down to the homeless people, and it's all races in that, or you can go to the actual younger generation of white people and these white kids. And also, I mean, don't get it twisted. Our black kids, especially with these raps, they talking about doing Xannies, they talking about doing X pills, they talking about doing all these freaking drugs. But you got to understand, our controller, who is actually controlling us and putting our music out and signing us, are the people in power, and we know who those people are. So we getting access to all this shit. Then they want us to rap about it. Because if I come out rapping about changing the community or making the community better, we're not going to push that. But if I come out talking about all these high-end drugs that I can't even afford, you know what I'm saying? Then what that's going to make me do? Want to work hard so I could be the next popular nigga with the Xannies. You feel me? I can't even afford Xannies right now. But if I get my money right, I can get them. And now I can pass them out to my people. So I'm telling you, man, they forcing this shit, man. And it's being forced on us, but it started with them, man. And now that they see that people are going, It's something they got to do, and this is one thing they got to do is get a building and get us to put our tax money into it so we can save their people. I'm telling y'all, and that's cool because I ain't got a problem with them. But make it a fair game. We gonna save y'all people, save our people. That's all I'm saying. We all together in this.
Because I do know that nationwide, if we were to calculate the deaths that are occurring because of drugs and drug overdosing nationwide, that extends all kinds of drugs, we're talking about hundreds of thousands then. We're talking
Amen.
about hundreds of thousands of
Amen.
people,
Amen.
right?
Amen.
So that would then determine that you would need to be able to service far more people and save far more lives than 100 if you are catering to the hundreds of thousands of people that are passing due to all kinds of drug use. So I don't know. I got to play with those. I got to read some more on this one, Ms. Londa, because I'm
Man,
good at math, but that math ain't making sense to me at all
it's
of
a fact.
how helpful this could be.
It's a
And
fact that
so
Joe
did you
Biden. It's a fact that Joe Biden put $30 million into crack pipes. That's a fact. Like, come on, man.
Yes, ma'am.
and so did you guys also read that there has been arrangements made between the NYPD so that these people with these addictions can, be able to come to these sites without fear of arrest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh wow.
Of course, because when you come in here willingly, and you come in here with the drugs willingly. We let you do your drugs, and we make sure that you stay alive. If we don't let you do your drugs, then we got to come out here and find you, and that's too much of work. When we can get these people to put their money into this building that we got going on, and you guys come in here and smoke, and we get paid every which a fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Period. We gonna get paid, and a lot of times it comes down to the money, but it
How they
also comes
getting
down.
paid? Like what they taking health insurance or something
I
to
was
come in
just
and clean
about to ask that. Is insurance paying for this? So
the
say
No,
insurance? Who's
if
paying
I
for
was on drugs and I went there, would my medical cover me being there?
I
it?
don't
Getting,
think
Right.
it will because I do
no,
insurance, and they, from what I read every day, it's like they don't, they can't do anything with substance abuse or any type of drug. The insurance won't cover that. Now I don't know if there's other insurance out there that does,
no. This ain't
but
about insurance. Again, like I
Um,
told y'all, you take it's like in America alone. I believe in America, it's like 300 million people in America, right? If you take 2%, okay, so out of the 300 people working, I'm gonna just throw a number out there. I'm gonna say 100 million people in America is working out of 300 million people here. I don't know if that's a real number. I'm just using the number. So if you take 100 million people that's actually working and take 2% of their checks, no matter what they getting, how much they getting, and you put it into this damn building, you don't need no insurance because you guys are paying for this building. Now let's just say this building only gonna cost us 200,000, but off a year, off of the 2% that we getting off of these 100 million, might be making 3 million a year just for this building alone. We don't fucking need nobody insurance. We just need y'all to keep paying us. So y'all can come in here for free, smoke whatever the fuck y'all want. Don't have to be worried about being arrested, and everybody is okay. And guess what? We still getting 3 million a year just for this one building. And it's not about insurance. It's about long as the taxpayers pay it. We pay everything. We pay for this war. We pay for all this shit that they sending over there to Ukraine. We pay for that shit. All this shit that they left back in 2011. I mean, well, 2000 and what was it, 20? I think. With the Afghanistan war where they finally left. I think it was like 20 years later or whatever. We paid for all that shit that we left over there in Afghanistan. If you was working and they left all them cars and planes and helicopters and shit over there, and they just did that shit last year in August. We paid for that shit. We may not see it, but we paid for it. And the way that we
who
pay
you
for
talking
it
about
is
taxpayers?
yes, and the way that we pay for it is because when you get a president, we go back to 2000 with Bush. What was it, 2006, 2005,
See,
something like
because
that? I don't
I'm
know.
confused how the money train is going. You confusing me with the money train now. Y'all
Listen,
say
listen.
no, they say it's a non-profit organization. I
But
know it.
nonprofit does not mean profit is not being made, Miss Sneed.
yeah,
Know
Correct.
that.
you can still profit off of a
You can
nonprofit
profit.
or yeah.
It
So
means
let me
tax
tell you
rate,
let me tell
but
you
it
real quick.
does mean profit for somebody. You got to follow that
Oh,
Right.
money.
Let me tell
okay.
you how nonprofit works, Miss Need. So if I got a nonprofit, let's say Podcast Lit is nonprofit for whatever I'm doing for the people, right? So when I get a car off of this nonprofit money, my car, even if I go buy a $3 million Ferrari, right? Because I done made all this money off this nonprofit, the car has to say podcast lit. It can't be for me. So when I'm driving around in this car, it's literally not for me, even though I'm flexing in it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's nonprofit. So I'm not profiting off
Oh,
it. This is for
okay.
podcast lit and what I'm helping. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't buy a car for Boom. So if I was buying a car for Boom, then it would be a profit because now I'm making a profit off of this. I'm doing something with somebody, then I can make a profit for myself.
Okay. So
But as
that's
far as
why they got
nonprofit,
non-profit and profit. I got
That's
correct.
how
you.
people with money
Yeah.
hide a lot of stuff.
Correct.
Okay, got
So
you.
with this nonprofit, again, when we go back into this nonprofit, why you think they was able to give us all these stimulus checks and give everybody 2,000 or whatever they gave us and stuff like that? Because they was able to take all this tax money that they taxing us for, and they taxing us basically, they overtaxing us, which is why they're able to have so much money to where if we do get into a IE pandemic, we can give y'all some stimulus checks or some whatever they call it, the checks, and back it up. Where did y'all get all this money from? Y'all didn't just print it. And if y'all did just print it, obviously it came from fucking taxes. Y'all already had this shit sitting. Y'all been overtaxing us for the longest. And y'all using when we put this money into these roads and they still fucking we put all this money into these roads, but we still fucking gotta go get our car fixed for potholes. Like, come on. Where are y'all really putting this money at? Oh, we don't got enough workers. Oh, we don't got enough this. No, y'all got enough because y'all got a big ass fucking house. If this shit was really for the people, we would all be living in the same communities. This ain't for it. So you gotta understand, like when they do this shit, oh, this house right here that I got, look, these priests, these pastors, these preachers, oh, this house I got right here. Any member of my church can come stay here. Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah. They have to put that on paper to make it look good to get the money to do what they want to do.
Come on,
Miss
man.
Stacy has a question. I think that's for Miss Shannon down there.
Okay, so she says, so the insurance won't cover the drugs that Biden administration is putting out on the streets.
So the only drugs I know about that only thing that I know about Biden putting out is the crack pipes. If he putting out some drugs, I gotta get recently.
No, this is about insurance. I think it was what Jamie was saying earlier.
As far as that, I don't know. I would have to really look into it. But I mean,
yeah, but I want to piggyback to the crack pipe. So you telling me that Biden actually put crack pipes on the streets? Is that what you're saying?
$30 million worth of crack pipes on the streets. Yes, you can look that up. That's not no thought.
So they just so people. I'm confused.
Remember?
So they just walk up to people and give them to them. That's what y'all said. How they find them?
No, I'm pretty sure you could just go to somewhere like some hospital, some clinic or something and be like, hey, I'm a user. I need a crack pipe. It's basically to stop us from sharing needles, sharing pipes.
Right.
So basically, right. To me,
yeah, because that was one of the things. It said basically it's for clinical safety, hygienic for addicts to assess care and treatment. It's to keep them from doing drugs on the streets in public. Also, they will be able to assess clean needles. So that's going to lower the risk of those diseases like HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, and all of that. Shout out to Daniel Sanchez. Thank you for tuning in.
See, I don't got no problem with my white folks, man. I love them, especially the ones that was born after 1940. Them my niggas. For
Keep
sure. So I ain't got a problem with them, man. But it's just like once they understand that their position in the game is really on them to be like, okay, let's make it fair. And honestly, I mean, I understand them because if you come over to my house and we play the game together, I'm not giving you my good controller. I'm giving you my broke controller, or don't play the game. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, so I understand. But at the same time, it comes to us then where we go over there. I know when I go to Ms.Londa's house, she gonna have a broke controller for me. Let me bring my good controller. You feel me? So we have to start bringing our good game to their game to understand how to play it. Because at this point, man, we just helping, and once we understand that we just helping, that's cool. Just help us too, man. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna just tell you this: if you come to my house, just know I don't share my Pepsi or my apple Snapple. That's it.
So if your water off and I'm thirsty, I'm finna die.
I got water. I got bottled water, and I got Minute Maid juice and Kool-Aid, but my Pepsi and my apple Snapple is off limits.
Hey.
All right, I got another comment. So Stacy says, so the Biden administration rather push more drugs in the Black community, but don't want to give out slave reparations that Ice Cube presented to Trump and to the Biden administration that they never got back to Ice Cube about. And yeah,
Trump
not
ain't in office no more.
nope, not the Apple Snapple. That's right, not the Apple Snapple. So yeah, that's what she said.
Well, they've never wanted to give reparations to African American people for anything. So that, yeah, Miss Stacy, that ain't happening. Ain't
I got
nobody,
an idea on
nobody up
reparations.
there trying to hear that. They
Hey, I
not,
got an idea on reparations though.
not for us.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Hey, I think that every black person in America, regardless of your position, I think that every black person in America should get at least $1,000 in food stamps. I don't give a fuck what you're doing in life. I think that everybody, I don't care how many kids you got, every black person over the age of 18 should automatically get $1,000 in food stamps. Because if we can eat, we got the energy to do whatever the fuck else. I really feel like.
No,
I don't give a fuck if you're making 100,000 a year. Huh?
He left out child care, food stamps, and child
food
care.
stamps. That's what
Hey, because we can eat. Hey, if we can
Right.
eat, we got the energy to build. And I don't. That's all I need
I
to
can
do.
see it now. $1,000 worth of food stamps. The block is
Yeah, I'm gonna eat
all
good.
this smoke in the
Hey,
I'm
air.
gonna be back
man, once the
300
motherfucker ain't
pounds.
hungry, hey, once the motherfucker when you not hungry, you happy, right? Man, the
Yeah,
hood gonna live. The
Listen,
hood
you
gonna live.
operate better.
I don't want to
Man.
go too far off topic, but boom, I got one thing to say to that. Now, listen, we got to be smarter than that. If the government had came to the Holocaust survivors and offered them food stamps, they'd be looking at them like they stupid, right? Because,
Facts.
okay, that's facts. We don't need the food stamps. Give us what we need and give us financial backing and things that we need, and then we can buy our own food or create our own food.
That's right, Tanza. Give us the other stuff. We buy our own
So
food.
y'all can keep the food stamps. Y'all, I don't need that.
But the thing about it, the reason I say food stamps is because black people literally don't eat together. Like, you know what I'm saying? We done had conversations about going to the cookout and everybody taking as many places they can, not caring about the next person. La la la.
Damn,
you know,
wait a minute, boom. My family ain't the only family do that.
No,
see what I'm saying?
no, hell no.
Yeah, because our
Oh,
family.
Somebody
I ain't trying to change the subject, but
to the barbecue with nothing but pack up a gang of goddamn to-go plates.
Y'all,
man, you got 30 cases of pop in that bitch,
damn.
right? 20
20
packs of paper plates, 30 cases of pop. Like,
why
where's the food?
do we as African Americans do that with each other? I ain't trying to take the topic away, but I swear we finna have our picnic and everybody said every family got to bring their own food. I said, why we all just can't sit down and eat together?
Bring a couple of
So
when I
imagine
when I used to throw stuff, I would assign people to bring things. So I would have all the ladies to bring a dish. I would tell the men paper plates, napkins, water, bottled water, you know, the drinks. You know what I'm saying? That's how I did it. You gotta know how to construct shit and get shit done how you want it and how you
Hey, but I'm just saying, imagine if everybody imagine if excuse me, every felon, every crackhead, every person that was of black race, unless you didn't deserve it, because I don't fuck with no rapists or no child molesters, so you know, but we ain't gonna go off topic. But every person got $1,000. If I knew for a fact I was getting $1,000 next month, okay, I just made 100,000 today, and I'm about to make 100,000 next week. I still know for a fact I'm getting $1,000 in food stamps at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. I would be more happy to help a motherfucker that's talking about they hungry, but 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't be hungry.
Hey,
And most time motherfuckers just don't be. I don't know, man. I think that if
they'll still be hungry because they be talking about I got food stamps for sale. What you talking about?
Not me.
They'll still be hungry.
But who can you sell food stamps to now? I get 1,000 too.
Now.
What you mean? Who can you give them to?
Y'all want to know when I go to the store to spend my food stamp? And this is not no bullshit. When I run out of cherry Pepsi. I'm dead ass.
But
listen, I gotta stop me. Stacy said something else down there, Ms.Londa. Y'all crazy. Miss Stacy said something else down there.
Okay.
Yeah, she says, LOL, already knew that wouldn't happen. Reparations to us, however, if they did, you have to prove that you were a descendant of slaves because not all blacks were slaves.
Yeah.
And
That
Man,
that's
my grandma,
true.
my great grandma was a slave. Fuck what they talking about. I don't know her. She was a goddamn slave. Fuck what you talking
I
about.
think all of our people were.
Man, yeah.
You heard my cousin. She was just on your
Y'all
show.
better look up
talking
y'all
about-
social security number. Shit. That's your slave number. Quit playing. Your birth certificate number is your slave number. Quit playing.
Shout out to Michelle. Thank you for tuning
Bina,
in.
Bina Bang.
Well,
Yeah,
to bring
Big
it all
Bang.
back around, I would really like to do some more research on this particular, program that they're trying to put in place. I really want to know who's behind it and what the real reasons for
That
it
would be interesting to know because I think there's an underlying reason.
There's an
And I just want to say to everybody who's tuning in, because we got like 19 people tuning in. So I want to bring them up to speed. So what we are talking about is New York City's first legal consumption sites where they can go and get injected with illegal drugs. If you guys want to share your opinion, you can write it in the comments or the number is up. Feel free to call in. I would love to hear what you have to say and hear your thoughts about that.
Wait, Ms.Londa, injected or are they there free to come there and use their drugs?
Injection. It says
so they are giving out the drugs.
yes.
Great.
Oh.
Yes.
So that's how they making the money then.
That's what I tried to that's what I was trying
Oh,
to
you was trying to say the whole time to us.
That's
Huh?
why I
Well,
said
guess what? We got it.
really underlying.
I thought it was bring your own, Becky, bring your
Me
own
too.
Vicodin and use it. But
Because
you're
if you
saying
think
they're
about it,
giving out the Vicodin.
if they let them bring their own drugs, you got to think about what they selling out on the streets. They're coating it with fentanyl, which is causing overdoses.
Oh.
You feel me? So you got to look at the bigger picture here.
Oh, yeah.
I feel you now. I got the picture now, because I'm like, where the money coming at?
That's
Okay.
money. That's
That's
all
real
about
money.
Mhm.
That was a smart idea, but hey,
Okay.
So you telling me that these niggas done found a way to legalize the crack house?
pretty much.
You got to
Well, you got to read up on it. I ain't gonna say
I
that.
tell y'all they play the
Read
game.
that, people. I don't know.
Article. Did
I
you
read
guys
it.
read the full article?
Yes, and it was
You
what I got
read in
from
the
it was
article, you can't help but to stop and think like,
Mhm.
really? This was really legalized? This is really, this could really go on?
So wait a minute. They legalizing that, but won't legalize the weed. That's crazy.
So the most interesting thing I would think is to find out what drug company is making whatever drugs that they're giving out, right? Follow that money trail.
Shout out Ms.
you in New
Londa.
York, right?
Follow that one. Yeah, it's in New York.
No, you in New York?
Oh, who me? No, I'm in Atlanta.
Okay. Oh, so you down the
I'm
street?
from New York, but I'm in Atlanta.
Okay, so did you hear about it? I think it's New York. Could be New Jersey. Oh, it's one of them news though.
Let's say hello to Belinda.
I'm hearing that the police are allowed to smoke weed now.
The police are
Yes.
What did he say?
for their anxiety.
I don't know, but they are allowed to recreationally smoke weed. They don't get drug tested for weed anymore.
Who down? The popos?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Popo gonna be
I
knocking
want
at
to say
your
it's
door.
New York though.
Mm.
Oh
That's
wow,
crazy.
this is the new
I don't
millennium.
But okay, so
Oh,
if the
God.
police can smoke marijuana, are they able to pick up people that have marijuana then?
Well, you know, in those states that in those states that they got like legalized weed, like Arizona, for instance, where I'm from, where I live, like I could get if they pull me over, as long as my bag not open, as long as they don't smell the weed, you know what I'm saying, they can't do nothing about it. But they can't. I think it's like up to 3 ounces. Anything after 3 ounces, then they coming at you like, what you need more than this, like, you know what I'm saying. So it just depends on how much you got anywhere really, if they gonna even bother you with weed, because it's like too much. It's like you talking about $300 court dates, $300 time to judge. It's too much to pay to charge a person for weed nowadays, to where you gotta have enough. Most officers will take your weed and stump that shit on the ground.
Man, weed always been a misdemeanor.
Yeah, it has.
That ain't nothing. That's been a misdemeanor.
So Stacy says this program, if I'm reading, yes, you're reading correctly. It is backed by Mayor De Blasio. And Rhonda says the whole world is going down. And yeah, I feel that.
for real, Rhonda. It is.
But that's okay though, because you know one thing
What's
though,
going down?
if y'all believe in God like me, then y'all know that God got a crazy ass imagination, man. And if he got a crazy ass imagination, he ain't just start with this funny. So we worried about this, man. We need to be worried about him.
This sounds like pharmaceutical companies making a whole lot of money.
They just found another way to do it. That's it. Period.
And
COVID got a lot of hits out here. Quit playing. COVID got people making money like TikTok. How you on there getting all these views all of a sudden? TikTok was for kids. Now you see anybody doing all this crazy stuff just to get that hit so they can get paid. I ain't finna do all that now. It was fun at first, but
I'll be on there trying to shake my little thing. I ain't gonna lie.
I be trying to act crazy with it too, but I don't be getting no views like that. So I'm asking myself, what am I doing wrong?
You ain't promoting enough. That's all. You just ain't promoting yourself enough. You can't just put a video up there and think you're gonna get a whole bunch of views. You gotta
Yeah,
share.
you gotta be consistent with it. You gotta like interact. You gotta jump in people's lives.
Yeah, when you see somebody like for instance, let's say you do a cha-cha slide video. When you scrolling through another video and you see other people doing cha-cha slides, you go on there and you show love. You don't have to, as far as the show love part, but you go on there, you show love, and then you post your video, you doing the cha-cha slide. So when other people read the comments, they see yours, and then click on yours to see your style of it. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I do is, even if like people that's on that follows me, when they go live, even if I don't want to watch they live, I go in there and I just start tapping the screen, hitting them with a whole bunch of hearts, and then I leave. I'll still show them love, but I didn't watch their video. I didn't watch their live. I ain't staying they live. That's what I do.
Okay.
Man, you always want to show love, though, man. Some type of love, man. Share, comment, some type of respect.
Another very interesting topic, Ms.Londa.
Yes. I want to thank you guys. Oh, okay. I have one more.
We got two more shots.
New York City Health Department says that the people can go to the sites without the fear. Yes, without the fear of being arrested. They're working with the NYPD. Yes, that's what I was just saying earlier. It was in the article that they are working. They have partnered up with the NYPD so that these people can come to these sites and get these drugs and not be in fear of being arrested.
So after they get high, what they do?
Go home, I guess.
Either they sit there and
Do they let them sit there?
and then once they come up off they high, they leave. I don't know.
Hell no, they ain't leaving. I'm trying to get some more.
They ain't leaving. How they leaving? And they
right, I want some more.
What?
I don't know either.
Hey, I want some more. I have a
It's that something we got to keep reading up on. That's how.
Shout out to Miss Miller, loving BNP. Well, you guys, this was a great discussion, but I want to let everybody know that I just started something new. So I already had this blog spot, but I just started interacting with it. So this is what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have people to come onto the blog. You can leave opinions. I will post our topics and they can leave their opinions about the topic. If you want advice, if you just want to share something, I will read it. I will respond to it live. Now, if you want to remain anonymous at the end of your post, please put anonymous. And when I read your response, I will not say your name. So this is the link to my blog spot up here on the screen. Thank you all for tuning in. This was a great discussion, you guys, as always. And everybody who jumped in the comments and shared your opinion or who just tuned in, thank you guys, and you all have a good night.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a good weekend. Weekday.
The weekend is over.
I know. Oh, God.